All right, so last night something happened, and it's a good thing, but I'm worried.
You're pregnant.
It may turn into a
Whoa.
What is this?
Whoa.
Like CNN?
You're not?
No,
my bad.
like no.
That's how I felt like that was how that was starting. Congrats.
It's 6:30 in the morning.
So it makes
and
it
you're
even
already
better.
starting.
So it makes it even better.
Okay, let me get back.
Please continue.
So last night I'm sitting because y'all know we bet a lot. We do bets on the show. We have show bets and then I have personals that I throw up because I can't fit all my bets on there, and we only do 2 at a time. So I came up with this theory of parlay betting.
You cracked the code?
I don't want to say that yet. I tried it for the first time last night.
And what happened?
I hit a 14-leg parlay for $832.
Really?
We're rich! Off $10. Okay.
Wait, 10 to win 8?
10 to win 832.
And it hit.
Yes. I will go over.
It's money, man.
Here it is right here on DraftKings. Use code BOOSTER. There we go. Shameless plug. I had UConn money line hit. Kentucky plus 5.5 hit.
Nice.
Vandy LSU over 135 hit. Ole Miss Auburn over 131.5 hit. St. John's plus 5.5 hit. Wake North Carolina State over 51 hit. Notre Dame plus 12 that hit. Bellarmine and Jacksonville over 116.5 hit. Virginia and BC under 132.5 hit.
Good pick.
Clemson money line hit. Troy plus 2.5 hit. Wisconsin plus 7 hit. Houston money line hit. And those just beautiful SOBs from Fordham plus 5.5. And it hit. So one of two things is happening. One, huge coincidence that I came up with a new theory in the same day that the parlay hit. Or number two, I have just joined Alan Turing and Will Thomas on cracking the unbreakable code. Alan Turing, the Enigma machine in World War II. Will Thomas, Leah Thomas found a way for dudes to go into women's locker rooms, and not only do they have to accept it, they have to celebrate it. And number three, the uncrackable code of the parlay code. All right, it's like a windfall situation.
What is it?
So here it's called. I dubbed the Crane-Thagorean's theorem.
Crane-Thagorean's theorem.
Of getting you breaded.
Okay, explain.
Okay, so you have to have at least 8 bets in Crane-Thagorean's theorem of getting you breaded. 5 of those bets, at least 5 of them, all right? It can be any number past 8. At least 5 of them have to be what I call opposite max bets, whether that's over, unders, or spreads. For example, okay, Kentucky, 2.5-point favorite last night. Went to the alternate line, got him at 5.5, plus 5.5. All right, so I'm playing both sides of it. They end up winning, a little bit closer than what I thought, but I hit that. I did that on like all the over-unders. So like Bellarmine and Jacksonville, right? The over-under is like 122.5 or something. I went and got it as low as possible, right? At 116.5, and it hit. So at least 5 of those. You heard me rattle off more than 5.
Need to be the max alternate line.
Max alternate line of either spread or over-under
sure.
On the opposite side. Does that make sense?
If you're taking an over, you need to pick the lowest number alternate line possible.
Yes, that's exactly right. All right, same thing for the spread. Then, after you've done at least 5 of what I call opposite max bets, you have 3 favorites on the money line. You heard me right. UConn, favorite, money line. Clemson, favorite, money line. Houston, favorite, money line. Hit all those I did last night. Ended up not picking Virginia money line. You still have to make good decisions. All right, don't just pick the sexiest one that walks out.
Glad you didn't pick Virginia.
I know, I took the under in that game. And then the third option, or the third leg, which is an option, is 2 games you really don't know, okay? I have not watched Bellarmine or Jacksonville play a game.
Okay.
Play a game.
So you need to sprinkle in some uncertainty. Because if you just because with any bet, if you think you know.
If you're good, the odds of you looking at 10 or more bets and saying, I know exactly what's going to happen in all of those, is not good. It's like the lady who wins the NCAA bracket pool in the office, all right? So she doesn't really know what's going on, but you don't want to have all of that. You don't want to have all the good information and or all the, I don't really know what's going on. It's a mix. It's a blend.
So let me ask you this. Because I always see this as a prop bet, and I always stay away from it because it just seems like a gimmick.
Octopus.
Is the octopus that did hit in the Super Bowl. The octopus hit in the Super Bowl.
I know.
The odd even bet on the final score.
Don't touch it.
You stay away from that,
stay away from it.
but you'll take a 50-50 shot on a game you don't know about.
Yes, yes. Don't ask me why. All right.
Look, this is Crane-Thagorean's theorem.
It's my theorem. I can make stuff up as I go. All right, so 2 games you don't know. For example, last night, Bellarmine and Jacksonville. And it can be over, under, or spread. I took the over at I took over 116.5. I mean, come on, man. This isn't a JV middle school girls game. I mean, y'all can't score 116.5 combined points, and you did. Won a lot. All right, it's like 63-61, but you hit the over. And then Troy and Louisiana Monroe. How many times have I watched Troy or Louisiana Monroe play this year?
Sounds
None.
like not a lot.
Not even once.
Okay.
Took Troy plus 2.5. They were actually favorite. All right, so it was really an opposite max bet of somebody I didn't know. So that, all right, the at least 5 opposite max bets, the 3 favorite bets on the money line, and the third option, if you want, at least 2 games where you really have no clue what.
So the 8-leg minimum, though.
8-leg minimum.
Do 7 legs.
I ain't trying to come out here and give you no theorem on something like plus 231 bet, so you can bet $20 to win like $40. I'm out here trying to get you caked up. That's why it's not called Crane-Thagorean's theorem of just making money.
Of mediocrity.
It's Crane-Thagorean's theorem of getting you breaded and winning your chick back and getting your bank account where you want it to be because the economy's been bad.
What say you over there about Crane-Thagorean's theorem?
I love it. It works. First time you did it.
First one and
like
one
I never feel comfortable about walking into any games and not knowing what's going on or not having watched a team.
That's why it's an option.
But I understand it.
There's comfort in that.
I understand
an option.
it. There's not.
There's comfort in that.
There's no comfort in that. What are you comfortable about?
Because if I walk in and I know for a fact what's going to happen, that one's not hitting.
For sure.
That one's not hitting.
I don't know.
You balance out
knew the
universe.
under in the Super Bowl was going to hit. Didn't happen.
You balance out the
happen.
universe. That's
Didn't
what it
happen.
does.
No one felt comfortable about that. The under the Super Bowl. I felt more comfortable betting Boston College yesterday.
It's somewhere.
So did Baby Code. Yeah.
This theorem is somewhere between narcissism and ignorance.
You need a little
Don't do
narcissism
that.
when it comes to betting.
Don't.
You
You
do,
need a little
for
narcissism
sure.
when it comes to
Like
betting.
playing
No,
corner.
it's confidence is
Okay.
what it is, not
That's what
narcissism.
It's a good blend.
Go with
I like to-
confidence.
It's like a strawberry beer.
Deion Sanders makes waves with his philosophy on recruiting. Brandon Miller puts up 41 points against South Carolina after being cleared by the Alabama Athletic Department. And Tom Luginbill of ESPN is going to join us to talk all things football, including the XFL. I'm Jay Crane. It's Thirsty Thursday, and welcome to Crane & Company. Those who are mad at new Colorado head football coach Deion Sanders about his comments on the Rich Eisen show recently need to calm down for a second. All right, now if you don't know, Prime said that he wants his quarterbacks to be from a dual-parent home and have great grades. But he wants his defensive linemen to be from single-parent homes, have a free lunch, and they're just out here trying to get it, to paraphrase. We'll play the clip when I get done. And it sent the internet ablaze. And the typical blue checks who line up on this app and in other apps to take everything they hear and scream oppression, regardless of who says it, as loud as possible, did what they normally do. And while it may be a little crass, I get it, he isn't saying something outlandish. So many coaches have used that same old joke or line because it highlights the stigmas and differences on both sides of the ball. Defense is more reactionary, and it's not typically thought of as cerebral as offenses. You hear these two guys say, oh, go see ball, hit ball all the time, which we know they're 100% wrong. The defensive guys are truly the smart ones. And also, while Prime has gotten divorced twice, he has been an integral part of his children's lives. He has 5 of them, 3 boys and 2 girls, and all 5 are successful and productive members of society. He is doing his part as a parent and as a man. He isn't out there advocating for single mothership. It's not his fault that the father's not there. He's doing his job. In fact, he's really only pointing out something that we already know. Having 2 strong and loving parents who are involved is without a doubt the best way for a child to grow up. You can do that if you're divorced as well. Now, I don't always agree with what Deion Sanders says and does, but when it comes down to fulfilling his fatherly duties, he has excelled. The truth is that Prime doesn't seriously practice exactly what he said on the Rich Eisen show, in my opinion. Now, guys like Mike Freeman from USA Today, who wrote a scathing article, are easily fooled because they don't really understand what they're covering. They understand it from the outside in. They've got a 30,000-foot view. Because to me, actions speak louder than words, and Deion is fulfilling his role. Now, If we could get some others out there to fulfill their role, it'd probably put us much further ahead in society than where we are right now. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my co-host, David Cohn, other co-host, Blaine Crane, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. Look, Deion says some things that, would rub people the wrong way, and I want to go ahead and play this clip before we get into it. But this is something like has been joked about and coaches talk about all the time. It doesn't make you a terrible person for pointing out the truth. Let's roll the clip.
Can you tell who that is just by talking to him now that you're walking in the living rooms and you're seeing more and more and more?
We have different attributes: smart, tough, fast, disciplined with character.
Yep.
We're looking at now quarterbacks are different.
Yeah.
We want mother, father, dual parent. Mm-hmm. We want that kid to be 3-5 and up because he's got to be smart. Mm-hmm. Not bad decisions off the field at all, because he has to be a leader of men. It's so many different attributes in what we look for when we see a quarterback. And you would love a coach's son. Somewhere that the coaches coached him, and I'm not going down my road. I see you smiling because
I know who your quarterback is right now.
He's talking about my son. I didn't just build a template for my son, but that's what really we look for in quarterbacks. Different positions are different. Like O lineman, I look for dual parent homes,
right?
A strong father that they adhered to,
right?
Smart kid, at least 3.3. and above.
You're also describing Hurts.
Yeah, tough. Well. Physical. Offensive line. My defensive line is totally opposite.
What do you mean?
Single mama. Trying to get it. He's on free lunch. I'm talking about just trying to make it. He's trying to rescue mama. Like mama barely made the flight.
Trying to get out the mud.
And I want him to just go get it. It's a whole different attributes that you look for in different positions, and we have that stuff just chronicled. We know what we want, and we go get it.
Yeah, so and you can tell kind of the joking tone. Deion Sanders isn't going to turn down a 5-star defensive end because both his parents are there. And really what he's saying is, in my opinion, and it's the truth in society, look, you have some people that are born into success. They look around, they have nice things, they understand what success is, they're living it, and they want to continue that. And those people are still hungry. There's some that aren't. Just like in both categories, some people are hungry, some people aren't. You're going to find that in all different walks of life. But when you do look at the numbers, when you look at somebody who was born into success, all right, and that is something they have to maintain, not go get, that is a different type of mindset than somebody who was born into a place that is chasing success that maybe has never had success. It's more of that golden egg on the hill as opposed to you being on the hill right next to the golden egg. And when it comes to defenses and offenses, look, offenses with wide receivers and quarterbacks, there's, a pretty aspect to it, right? You get all the girls and all the pub. Offensive line's a little bit different. But on defense, you're out there you're having to just run things down and run into things. It's not for the faint of heart. So when you look at it from that aspect and really from the truth, what Deion said, even though I think he was saying that in jest, and I'll start with you, David, is true.
Deion Sanders is a wild card. He's a lot like Lane Kiffin. What he wants most of all is to be talked about, and that's what we're doing. We're talking about him, and he's being funny here.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders is being funny here. Now, it's not lost on me that if Nick Saban or if Dabo Swinney made this same comment, not a lot of people would find it funny.
Which is not Deion Sanders' fault.
No, but I think that NAACP would already be in Tuscaloosa already. Yeah. But that point aside, he's being funny, okay, which is why the people around him laughed. And there is something to be said, and you guys coached. You guys, I've never had to rely on 18 to 22-year-old young men to put food on my table. Both of you have, okay? There is something to be said for the sport of football being an outlet for those who come from rough upbringings, right? It's hard to risk everything if you're given everything. With that being said, obviously, you don't need to come from a single parent household in order to be hungry or to be tough. Yeah. I grew up with a lot of guys who didn't have a father in the household who thought that they were tough, and they didn't make it to the second day of football practice once the pads get put on. And the opposite of that is true as well. So, look, I think that, to your point, Jake, when you look around at some of the greatest defensive linemen that we're seeing in the game right now, like a Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Nick and Joey Bosa. Those guys come from two-parent households, right? You can tell me Deion Sanders wouldn't have them play in Colorado?
Yeah.
Obviously not. He's trying to make a joke. It didn't come. I mean, some people, were upset by. Everybody's going to be upset by something now.
Yeah, whether it's Tiger Woods handing a tampon to Justin Thomas or Deion Sanders joking about this, we've lost the ability to
and on his own son. I mean, like you said, Deion Sanders is divorced, right? Like that's a broken home situation. His son plays quarterback for him.
Well, first of all, he's not the only guy that's saying this. There's plenty of coaches behind closed doors who would say the exact same thing. Deion's just the only guy who'll come out.
Yeah,
he'll
you
come
and
out
I both know from people that have been on. There's a certain humongously successful coach that has a certain percentage of white kids that he signs in each recruiting class, and that's part of what he does too. I'm not going to say who, but a lot of coaches do that, and that's actually part of a certain structure.
You would be amazed the things you would hear behind closed doors when it comes to coaches. It will blow your mind. But to certain things, he's just talking about certain attributes in guys. Like you want a D lineman to have that motor that has been having to go get it his entire life. Because let me tell you this right now: to play defense in general, especially if you're going to play in the box and anything above a high school level, you have to be somewhat insane. You have to be somewhat insane. The physical contact. You go, look, man, I was a receiver. All right, I don't like getting hit. I don't like getting tackled, all right? I go out of my way not to get tackled.
Your job is to not get tackled,
all right? But these guys on defense, there has to be a certain thing, you can say, that have that dog in them, whatever you want to say, there has to be a certain thing you bring to the table. But every coach has this, the cross the T's and dot the I's when it comes to recruiting guys. Deion's not afraid to say what Deion's going to say. That's what makes it Deion Sanders. But I'm telling you, you would be amazed. You would be amazed. If y'all think this is bad, you should hear some of this stuff. And there's always an exception. Deion's not going to not recruit Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. Because he just got
if he went and saw Riley Moss.
There's always an exception when it comes to stuff
what he did at the Senior Bowl.
But you got to have a template when you look at guys like this. So this is funny. Everyone just calm down. And all we do is cry and cry and cry and cry. It's getting old.
Yeah, and that's when you look at our society compared to what I was watching a video the other day, our kids are being told, hey, you can be a boy, a girl, a stove, or a unicorn, while Chinese kids are over there learning how to take apart a pistol. In the
you saw that.
That's interesting because I was looking up a little bit about Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's been one of the best defensive players in football for the last half decade, for sure. I was looking up a little bit of his story, and he admitted when I was younger, I was sort of lazy. I was lazy in middle school and things like that. And he said his dad created a routine for them where he would get up at 4:30 a.m. with him to start working out. And that became sort of his routine that then segued him into high school. That's a great anecdotal example, like what we're talking about, sort of an anomaly of a situation where you have a father saying, hey, I'm gonna bring you along. I'm gonna make you tough. This is gonna be better for you in the long run. And if it just so happens that you end up being good at football, that's very good too. Again, an anomaly, but still a great point that I think is worth noting when it comes to Deion's recruiting.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to make it sound like we're painting anybody with a dual parent home and that have success in a negative light. That's what I want. I want to leave for my kids better than what I had it, and I want them to want to leave their kids better than they had it. Just because you want to be the start of that? Great. You want to be the face on the crest of the shield that the rest of the generations look back and said, that's the guy, that's fantastic. But I don't want that to be the situation. I don't want my son to have to be so hungry to go out there and go get it because he's trying to get mom on a flight. No, I'm going to book mama's flight. I'm going to pay the mortgage. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to take you to the places that give you an opportunity to be the best that you can be.
And that's my main point. Each person responds to their life circumstances in a different manner.
Exactly.
For Aaron Donald, it was better to have a father in the household because he woke him up at 4:30 in the morning and they worked out together. For some guys, maybe it makes them hungrier and have a stronger drive to succeed if they don't have a father in the household. Or if I think about the story of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was put up for adoption, and because he was adopted, that was like a chip on his shoulder that ended up for him being the richest man in the world at some point. You never know how someone else could be put up for adoption and they crumble under the weight of that. Everybody responds to life circumstances differently.
That's the greatest part about living in this country. You determine how well you do, regardless of what the media tells you. But I'm going to tell you something, speaking of the media telling you something. Black Rifle Coffee is fantastic, all right? And life is too short to be drinking bad coffee. I woke up this morning, looked to the left, chose violence, looked to the right, chose Black Rifle, actually have some gunship at the house. And right now, if you go to blackriflecoffee.com, and use our promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER at checkout, you get 10% off your purchase and your first coffee club order. Two best clubs, Coffee Club, Booster Club. Not even close. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER for 10% off. You can also try Black Rifle Coffee in grocery and convenience stores near you. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. Maybe we should drink a little bit of Black Rifle Coffee, David, during All Access today at 11:30, where you think it's All Access right now? There's a ton of access happening at 11:30 Central.
I forgot about that. All Access today? Yeah, I'm going to have some Lava Panther.
60% of the time, it works every time.
I did hear that. Oh, that's on the bag, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'm on a gunship over here, guys.
You are?
Right here? I'm on a gunship. What you know about that? Still, get out of my camera. Still waiting for that new Flaming Dragon brew that's coming out soon.
I heard that one.
It's actually on fire when they give
most
you that. They send it to your house on fire.
It's like one of those desserts at a fancy restaurant.
Yeah, it's on fire. The mailman just runs and drops at your front door and runs off. You better be there or your house is going to burn down. So, one or the other. Booster Club?
Yeah, dude.
All right, we knew we were going to get to this. All right. Xavier Manley with a $5 donation. If you do donate, we'll automatically say whatever you said. Depends on what you say, though.
Yeah. He'll read whatever you put in the prompter.
I will. Morning, guys. Morning to you. It says Xavier Manley. It's a $5 donation.
Thank you, Xavier.
So, did you guys see that South Carolina fans were waiting in the B-ball last night in prison jumpsuits? You knew this was gonna come.
Yeah, we're gonna get to. You want to wait till we get to 5 big questions?
Sure.
Let's wait till we get to 5 big questions. We're gonna answer.
Don't get mad at me. I'm just a messenger.
Yeah, again,
I'm
just don't burn my house down.
Let's go to.
Actually, wait. The insurance is pretty good,
but.
Now you just said that on TV.
Nope. Let's go to Doghouse Lawn Care.
Ooh.
All right, it says Deion just stating facts. People upset with that probably feel the same way about Tiger handing out a certain thing in a golf course.
That's exactly what just came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
We live in the worst time. I'm gonna start doing stand-up, like legitimately, just to have something in the comedy space that's legitimately real and doesn't suck anymore. If I have to watch Amy Schumer or one of these clowns get up there one more time, I am going to personally lose control. It's so bad. I've been looking around at some of the stand-up comics. I'm not talking about Bill Burr or these guys that'll say what they want. They're hilarious. Some of these other ones, these like fembot comics, are these guys that are so afraid to say anything that's going to offend everybody. It's just the worst.
Fembot?
Yeah. You ever seen Austin Powers?
The Fembot.
Yeah.
Awesome-o?
No, not Awesome.
Oh, okay.
That's a totally different thing.
My bad.
I'll take the fembot.
Let's go to Zane Parr here. What's up, Zane? He says, people hate on Deion so much. They say that he won't even make a bowl game, but if they win the 4 to 5 games this year, that'll be a vast improvement.
Look, at Colorado, he didn't have to go win a national championship for this thing to be a success. The first time Deion wins 8 games, if it's within the first 3 to 4 years, somebody huge is going to come snag him.
This is why it was a high IQ play. They won a game last year.
Yeah.
If he wins 2, he's doubled their win total. Mel Tucker won 5 games at Colorado and got the Michigan State.
I know.
I mean,
it's the perfect transitory job to where you want to go. I mean, it's such a great transitory job. Sean Lewis left being the head coach at Kent State to go be the OC at Colorado. So they're going to have a ton more talent. We're talking about them. It's made the brand even bigger, and it was already a big brand. Colorado has tradition, but he didn't have to go in there and win 9 or 10 games to make this thing legit. I think he's there for 2, maybe 3 years.
Daniel R. says, at Blaine, facts don't care about your feelings. Deion is right here. I know I came up with that saying. I appreciate that. Let's go to Malcolm Martin. What's up, Malcolm? Says, all he's saying is he wants some guys that are hungry. He didn't want any spoiled brats in that locker room.
I know. That's why, again, when everybody freaked out when he went in that room, it was like, listen, some of y'all are probably going to want to transfer. All right? If you want to get in the portal, go ahead and get in it now. I would much rather have a coach that is honest with me about that than the coach who's like, nah, Brandon, come here, Brandon. Look, I know you're the second string quarterback, all right? Possibly third. Second string, possibly third. I know you want to leave, but guess what? There's a good chance you're going to be the starter, okay? If you stick around and you give us that last year of eligibility you have for, the rest of your life, then there's a possibility that you could be the starter. No, tell me I'm not going to play. If I'm not going to play, tell me that I'm not going to play, or if you're going to bring somebody in that you already have a good idea that's going to play, which we're seeing that transfer portal, just tell me so I know. I can work with factual information. What I can't work with is you blowing smoke up my ass when I'm trying to finish my career in the right way.
I think one major aspect of this, which we didn't really touch on, is when you're making a generalization, right, and you're leaning into a perceived stereotype, what statement are you making on the other end of that? Is it positive or is it negative? For instance, if you say, I want to recruit kids from a single-parent household because they're hungry and they're going to go sack the quarterback more, the other end of that qualifier is a positive thing, right? So some people got upset and then other people are saying, well, it's not that big of a deal because it's positive. If you come out to say, I don't want to recruit any kids from a single-parent household because they're going to get in more trouble and create problems in the locker room, that's a negative ending to the qualifying statement that you've made. That's going to then get people even more upset and jump on you, because then you're going to have people pointing out those anomaly situations like we just said. And not all people from single-parent households cause problems.
Yeah.
Well, not all people from single-parent households sack the quarterback.
That's exactly right. Like, look, I'm not out there. There's a saying, too, in college football, good guys get you fired. Like, it's the truth. You don't want to have a bunch of choir boys out there that, are just, not saying you want a bunch of criminals.
I'm saying, but look at what we're dealing with in Tuscaloosa right now. This situation could end up getting a coach fired.
And there's balance to everything, right? You want a good balance. But when it comes down to it, and Deion kind of complimented both sides. I think, again, this is where you can find some common ground. Talked about, hey, you want the quarterback to come from this household and be a leader, want the defense guy because he's hungry and he wants it. It's almost like he complimented both sides and then made you try and flip the other side of the coin and say, oh, well, this is how you can interpret it negatively. I feel like he kind of played both sides, which typically I don't like. But in this instance, when I think it's a joking matter, like, I don't think he's legitimately going up there and being like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, 5-star defensive end? 2 parents?
Yeah.
This dude's not even getting off the line.
And you know what? If he did do that, if he was serious about it and doubled down, no, I don't want any defensive linemen who come from 2-parent household, which is ridiculous. But if that were the case, it's only to his detriment. You're going to miss out on a lot of great prospects.
And he's not that dumb.
No, exactly.
Like, he gets that. All right, what else we got?
All right, Sister Riggs. What's up, Sister?
Sister Riggs.
She says, it reeks of discrimination, whether it is or not. I can't help but look at it from an HR perspective, whether he is right or not.
Oh, HR nightmare.
Yeah.
Deion's an HR nightmare.
I'm not talking. They knew that when they signed Deion.
Hey, not a PR night. That's interesting. Public relations is 2 things. You want to get your name out there and market it, but then you don't want someone to say something controversial. You're going to get half that with Deion.
How can there be no such thing as bad PR, but y'all have an HR director?
Just win.
Yeah, just win. You want to know? Just win.
Yeah.
Just win or score 41 points.
Everything's a lot easier when you win. Let's go to Calvin Tillman. What's up, Calvin? Says, excuse me. Says, everybody's too sensitive these days. Facts. It says, Deion is not wrong. He's talking about a mindset that a player needs to play a position. That is correct.
Yeah, and not in every instance, but just generally speaking, there is thought towards that. But again, when you look at the numbers and the way it evens out, I want the best players. That's why I think what he said at the beginning was perfect. Let's go back. Bring that clip back up. Bring that Deion Sanders clip back up.
Who's talking about character?
Yeah, where he says the attributes that they look into players. I want to play just the beginning of this, and then we'll cut it. Play it real quick.
Can you tell who that is just by talking to him now that you're walking in the living rooms and you're seeing more and more and more?
We have different attributes: smart, tough, fast, discipline with character.
Stop.
We're looking at
Stop it right there.
Smart, tough,
Stop right
fast,
there.
Discipline.
That's what he is looking for in a player. Then it devolves into the joking area of where he makes it funny. That, to me, is the overarching theme or archetype of the player that you want. And why would you not want that player? Thank you guys for bringing that up.
All right, let's go to Sean Pennison. What's up, Sean? He says, sorry, I've been MIA. I was on vacation.
That's Sean.
I hope you enjoyed your vacation.
I'm not forgiving. You're going to have to
We're proud of you.
Where was that vacay at? I want to know. Hashtag Ask Crane Company. Can we get a little love for Trey Morgan hitting the natural cycle this weekend?
Yeah, and again, by the way, I was looking at college baseball line, speaking about sports gambling this morning. I just love that you can bet on college baseball. Yeah, there's nothing like a good natural cycle, right? No shot in the back. No, we ran into, we played extra innings and you were able to get a 888. The natural cycle, and I believe if we're talking about the same thing, the natural cycle is 4 for 4 with a home run, a triple, a double, and a single. Not a walk, not 4 for 5. I call the natural, just like an immaculate inning is 3 pitches, 3 outs. But a natural cycle to me is 4 for 4 with each one of them, which is obviously harder to do in general. Or did he go?
It's saying in that order.
Single, double, triple, home run.
Single, double, triple, home run.
We just call it
collecting the hits in that order is known as the natural cycle.
Yeah, to me it was going 4 for 4 with all 4. Because I would call that something else. The odds of doing that, I mean, that's like the gold.
While we're on it, only 14 players in MLB history have ever hit for a natural cycle.
Like that to me is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And the odds. I mean, think about how long they've played Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been through 2 world wars. All right, and only 14 guys have done it. So,
that's true.
Pretty impressive.
All right, let's go to Charles Moore. What's up, Charles? It says, does Colorado become the new Houston? Get a couple coaches like Kevin Sumlin and Tom Herman to have a mid to good season and jump to big programs with limited success.
Well, I'm interested to see where Colorado ends up in this whole conference alignment thing. I think we got to see where they fall. You're hearing Colorado maybe back to the Big 12. Maybe a move like that. Going from the Pac-12 now to the Big 12. I want to see where they end up, because if you also saw, and I know we're going to talk about this as it keeps developing, Apple has some interest in buying the Pac-12 rights, which would be streaming, which would be a disaster, which would be an absolute disaster, which makes me believe the Pac-12 is actually, we're past the point with the Pac-12 of where, all right, we know we're sinking. Like, it's not like, hey, there's a hole in the boat, can we fix it? Do we need help? Like, now all of a sudden, like, the back end's starting to tip in the water. Like, we need to start getting to the lifeboats and get Billy Zane's selfish ass out of the way.
For Colorado's long-term success, it depends on the succession plan. Look, Deion Sanders is not there for a long time. Like I just said, Mel Tucker won 5 games and left from Michigan
Here for
State.
a good time, not a long one.
Here for a good time, not a long one. So can you create some sort of identity for these couple of seasons that Deion Sanders, from my opinion, is going to be there, to then sort of catapult you and say, hey, this wasn't just a flash in the pan. We are here for the long haul. That's my question for Colorado as a program.
I think that's the biggest question out there for their fan base, too. I mean, we got to see it.
All right, let's go to Zane Parr with a $5 donation. Zane, I'm going to read the first part of this donation. I'm not going to read the last. At South Carolina at plus 1,000 odds to win the game. I think they ended up losing it. Brandon Miller hit a couple big shots. Let's go to Gibby the Great. $5 donation. If Rick Barnes is on the hot seat, if the Vols do not make it past the Sweet 16 this year.
No, who you going to go get? Who you going to go get?
Bruce Pearl.
Yeah.
Get out.
David. You're 6'7", but I'll climb that tree.
Oh, don't climb that tree.
Climb that tree.
There's certain people you can go
I will climb that tree.
What's the tree in Lord of the Rings they climb up and he takes them and...
Do you know something actually about a movie or something?
Yeah, Sauron. The tree.
Sauron. No, Sauron's the bad guy.
That's not the tree.
The walking tree. The walking tree.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
Flood Saruman's...
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it. Saruman's the bad guy.
Tree bark.
Yeah. Sauron's the bad guy.
And Saruman. Their names are too close.
Okay.
But I'm not going to tell
Sam
Tolkien how to do his job.
Tolkien, man. He must have been on...
Treebeard. Yes.
His name?
Treebeard.
Wow,
Thank you.
But we scraped the bottom of the barrel to find that name.
I really apologize for digressing.
No. Look, you don't ever apologize.
You called me a tree, so.
You need to apologize for the Bruce Pearl comment.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, you going to go get Rick Pitino, maybe? I'm here at Ole Miss. May go get Rick Pitino. Great. The SEC basketball just murders row of coaches now. Look, again, you have to look at what the market bears. And Rick Barnes, he's done a good job. You look at Tennessee, they've lost, 4 of the last 5? Something like that? I know Auburn had lost 4 of their last 5. They beat Ole Miss last night. Tennessee had lost 4 of their last 5. I just don't know if anybody's at Chris Beard, which, by the way, I don't know how, on one hand, you can sit here and say certain things about Brandon Miller and, oh, he's innocent, so he should play. And then Chris Beard's sitting over there, who technically is innocent, charges got dropped, and yet he got fired from Texas. Like, to me, like, this is when we start getting into the, all right, if you're going to sit here and say, well, no charges are brought, automatically innocent, then why the hell's Chris Beard not coaching in Texas?
Tennessee has lost 4 of their last 5, with that lone win being over number 1 Alabama.
Basketball's just a funny sport. All right, let's get to 5 big questions.
All right, let's do it. First one, our boy Taylor Lewan.
Yeah.
Released by the Titans. Titans also released Robert Woods, a couple other players to get under that cap. Do we have some photos of Taylor? Look at the boy there.
He goes right
here. Busting what the boy said, rest in peace. Dude, rest in peace. They got Chubbs up there. They got Will Compton up there, the Queen.
Dude, they're so funny.
Do you think Taylor Lewan will continue his career for another team?
I want Taylor. I don't know, because I think Taylor will truly do what is best for his family. I just, after knowing him, meeting him, talking to him, he's a fantastic guy. I hope Taylor does what makes him happy. If he wants to try and play somewhere else, go do your thing, man. If not, if you want to retire, it's been an unbelievable career. It gives you more time to come over here and hang out with us as well. I want him to do what makes him happy. Either way, it's like I said, somebody's getting a good one, either another team or retirement. Either way, they're both getting a good one.
Or there's going to be more Bussin' with the Boys content.
That's exactly right.
One way or another.
Exactly right.
I've heard rumors maybe Steelers, Blaine?
Well, look, Taylor's a great tackle. The only thing you worry about Taylor is staying healthy. You're worried about paying a guy a lot of money because, first of all, if you're gonna get a tackle, those aren't cheap. Those are one of the positions when it comes to football that's not cheap, especially a good one. I think it's 2 ACLs, right, coming off for Taylor. So I think a lot of it has come down to what Taylor wants to do. I know he'll be fine off whether or not Bussin' with the Boys or whatever he wants to do. I think he just had a big interview with Jeffree Star, I believe, which was good to watch. So, Taylor won.
Jeffree Star on.
Get healthy. If you want to go play, man, go play. But health is the biggest thing.
I hate to see this. He was the longest tenured player on the Titans.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him. Got to play with him for 2 seasons at Michigan. I'm torn on it. I think, he could retire right now and just stay here in the Nashville area, or maybe he'll go give it a shot a couple more seasons with another team.
Yep.
Either way, one of the best to do it, man. I'm telling you,
sure.
If you're dropping back in the pocket, and you got a blind side, that's who you want playing left tackle.
Taylor,
remember him in the Josh Norman days going at it?
Yeah, I remember
that. Yeah.
It was incredible. All right, next one. We were talking about Brandon Miller in Alabama. Miller put up 41 points last night, including the game-winning layup in overtime. And this was after his attorney came out and clarified some things involving his situation with the shooting in Tuscaloosa, mostly just sort of confirming some of the main aspects that were being reported. He was at the scene of the shooting, and the weapon was in his car at some point, even though his attorney's saying he never handled the weapon. That aside, Alabama Athletics also cleared Miller to play a couple hours before the game. Here was their statement. UA Athletics continues to cooperate fully with law enforcement in the ongoing investigation of this tragic situation. Based on all the information we have received, Brandon Miller is not considered a suspect in this case, only a cooperative witness. So it sounds like he may be working with the prosecution here. Today's statement from Brandon's lawyer added additional context that the university has considered as part of its review of the facts. Based on all the facts we have gathered, Brandon remains an active member of our team.
Yeah, I think we have to separate. Nobody has ever doubted whether Brandon Miller is a fantastic basketball player. That is one thing in this whole situation that there is no question about. Brandon Miller is an unbelievable talent, possibly number 1 overall pick, dropped 41, including some clutch plays last night. But yesterday, and you know what I came out and said about Nate Oates, what I thought about, there should have been a suspension before. I think this looks really bad on Nate. And then his comments were, and I know he had this big soliloquy right after it happened, but then the comments he made was very tone deaf and downplayed kind of the situation, in my opinion. And I thought that made him look like all he cared about is winning. And I still, sitting here right now, believe that. I was told yesterday, I got a bunch of messages from people, see what Brandon Miller's lawyer said? That Brandon Miller didn't do anything wrong or there's no culpability because his lawyer said that. Do some of y'all not understand what a lawyer does, like for their client? Their job is to put their client in the best situation possible, both legally and from a PR perspective. Now, I'm not going to sit here, and nobody said yesterday that Brandon Miller should be in jail for 100 years. I don't think any of us even said that he should be in jail. But there should have been a suspension on the front end of this, and y'all are just now getting new information right before you find out about the South Carolina game that clears him even more. So there was still some sort of unknown there. But to come out and say, now I'm not going to go the way Clay Travis did and say the low-hanging fruit. That's such low-hanging fruit. I'm not going to sit here and do that. I'm not going to waste my time. But if you think that by having somebody's personal lawyer come out and say that they did nothing wrong, exonerates them, then you would be the worst judge of all time ever. That's like me sitting here and as a coach, as a head coach, not coming out and bashing my quarterback after he played bad. You do things for a reason because that's your job. What did you think the lawyer was going to come out and say? Well, to be honest with you, I don't know. I really don't know if what Brandon's saying is the truth. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. He could be guilty. Like, go outside. And the last thing I'll say, Cone, on this, a lot of people yesterday are like, look at all these people that are talking bad about Alabama. There are teams that fan bases that don't like Alabama. Well, you know the one and only fan base I've seen defending Brandon Miller? It's Alabama. So by using your logic, It's an even worse look on that side. It's a horrible situation. I don't think Brandon Miller is somebody who needs to be on the FBI's most wanted list or anything like that. I think you should have suspended him, and then when the facts came out, you could have reinstated him. But that's why it looks bad now with the comments.
I was thinking about this last night, and I wanted to ask both you guys this because, like I said, you guys have coached. You guys have had to rely on 18 to 22-year-old young men to put food on your tables before. As far as the suspension, I still think there's a scenario here that could have existed with Brandon Miller not being suspended, but with the athletic department sort of leading, showing some leadership and getting out in front of this situation so that people have more information. So here's my question to you guys. I do agree when we're paying coaches, whether a head basketball coach, football coach, whatever, multiple millions of dollars a year, that we should expect them to incorporate morality and ethics into their decision-making and be leaders of young men. At the same time, they're being paid and they're providing for their families to win contests, to play the best players and to win contests. You guys know, we just talked about it with the Deion Sanders
hard
thing.
Balance.
I was thinking about this last night because yesterday I made a statement that I think Nate Oates should have made a statement well in advance as long as he didn't give out any information that was counter to the investigation. I got to thinking about it last night. Do you think that the athletic departments of these universities in situations like this, the AD, Greg Byrne in this situation, or even the university administrators writ large, should be the ones to take these scenarios out of the coach's hands? And because there's an incentive factor with coaches, right? Like, look at this game last night. Brandon Miller, Alabama won that game because Brandon Miller showed up and had some of the greatest shots that we've seen this season. That helps Nate Oates keep his job and hit some of his incentives. Should the athletic departments and the university officials be the ones to come out and either suspend kids when they get the information that warrants a suspension, or to be the ones who come out from a PR and marketing standpoint? Because you can't ask a head basketball coach or a head football coach to also be an attorney or to be an expert marketer or public relations guy. Should it be the university and athletic departments who come out and lead with this information to take heat off coaches?
It should be both. It should be worked into tandem, because I get afraid if you start taking away a coach's ability to say whether he whether he shouldn't play a guy, then you also have the ability to tell him that he has to play a guy. That's the part that worries me. If you're going to come and sit here and tell me, you hired me. Now, if it's a legal thing, that's totally different.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
That's totally different. But I always will err on the side of letting the legality will take care of itself. If you did something illegal, you're not going to play. That takes it out of the coach's hands. That takes it out of the administrator's hands. That takes it out of everybody's hands. That's almost an easy way out, like an easy route to find. It's when it's a situation like this where technically a law may not have been broken, but it is a bad look and you were involved in something bad. And again, I'm not relaying this to missing curfew, but most suspensions, like I said yesterday, don't happen for breaking the law. Like, I don't think you can sit here and say, all right, you can only be suspended if you break the law of the United States. That's the only way you can be suspended. You're never going to be able to build a culture up in a locker room like that.
Most team rules have nothing to do with it.
Exactly
I've never played on a team where one of the rules was you can't murder somebody.
Yeah.
Not that that's what I'm not talking about in this situation. I'm just saying, normally, because laws are laws, that's not a team rule. You know, what are your thoughts on
Well, I think everything starts with the head coach. Like, every head coach is different, but you have a set of team rules. Right, that's what you have. If it gets to the AD, when it comes to PR and stuff like that, you have people for that to tell you what the coach needs to say in the right moment. But it starts with the head coach. Do I think Brandon Miller should be suspended? Yeah, I mean, you're involved with a firearm. I think, and this is really weird for Alabama because you're used to dealing with the Nick Saban, these guys, and they're always ahead of everything.
Yeah.
No matter what it is from a PR standpoint, they're always ahead of it. So am I surprised Brandon Miller didn't get suspended? Yeah, to a certain extent. But the big thing with me was, especially when all this stuff happened, I just wanted to wait for everything to come out. I wanted to be fully transparent on what we see and what we know. And a lot of people, when it comes to media and stuff like that, they can say they didn't, but they have their fan hat on. That's what they have. That's what they have. And I will never, when it comes to stuff like this, sports are sports, they're important, but when someone's life in danger, when there's violence involved, I want all the facts. I don't care if you're an Alabama fan, an Auburn fan, a Tennessee fan. This is someone's future, someone's life got taken. So I do think it starts with the head coach when it comes to team rules. But if it works up to the AD can always come in and make the decision if he has to.
Well, to your point about waiting on more information to come out, I was talking to an attorney who actually went to Alabama Law School last night who said, look, this was just a hearing. Right? The prosecutor and the defense, they both want to keep as much information as close to the vest as possible anyway. That's why you're sort of getting little pieces here.
What happens with the preliminary trial? Like what happens when that starts?
And obviously there is discovery to be considered and they have to share evidence and things like that. But my point is, we may not know all of the information until this situation goes to trial. Now, it does sound like Brandon Miller's going to be cooperating with the prosecution, and hopefully at this point, now that this is blown up into a national story, they have at least been as truthful as they possibly can up to this point with what police uncovered in the investigation. Another good thing is all of this was on a video camera. That was another thing that Brandon Miller's attorney did say, is like, look, all of this is on camera, so we know the extent of his involvement, right? And we have the text messages, and he has cooperated with law enforcement with going through his phone. So at least there's that, but like you said, Blaine, there could be more information coming out soon. All right, next one here, college football. Texas, the Texas AD asked, was it the SEC here, Jake?
Yeah, it's Chris Del Conte, and I saw this on at the Ref on Twitter, which is I believe it's a sports station out of Oklahoma, because they were asking Oklahoma fans, because the Texas AD said, hey, we want to play the Red River shootout, which I'll call the Red River. It's a shootout, all right? Sorry. Isn't it funny how we call shootouts? There's shootouts in basketball, but nobody says anything because you shoot the ball in basketball, but it's just a weird play on
Don't say field either.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Better not.
I don't know what Justin's going to do. But no, when it comes on this, Texas AD wants the Red River shootout to be played at 2:30, okay? Because I believe it's been played at 11 o'clock.
That's an early game.
Every year it's an early game. I want to say this to Texas. All right, listen, I need y'all to understand something. The SEC let y'all in the club. You're in the most exclusive club there is. You come in, there's that Louis the 13th cognac or Louis the 8th or whatever it is.
Welcome to Augusta.
Welcome to Augusta. Here's some champagne. You don't come in and start asking for things and for a specialty drink and I want to change the drapes over here. This isn't the Big 12, okay? And I know you didn't play at 2:30 on the Big 12, but you're not the big dog anymore, okay? You're kind of like a puppy that's a little grown up, like puppy that lost its way, right? From Miss Libby. You know, the chick that put glue all over her face? You don't come in asking for things. You'll be lucky if the SEC lets you play at 2:30. We'll see. You know who makes that decision? Palpatine himself, Greg Sankey. So again, I know what you're doing. I know you're trying to come in the SEC and ask for things and try and establish your dominance. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, okay? Stop it. This is not the place to do it. You're not the big dog. This is not the prison thing where you walk in and punch the biggest guy in the face, all right? Because guess what? That guy is Georgia, and he will beat you to death, okay? Just understand that. So you come in, if you're going to play at 11:30, you're going to play at 11:30. You're going to play at 6, your ass going to play at 6. But you're not going to come in here telling people what time you're going to play because they're going to tell you what time it really is. But I'll tell you what time it really is. It's Luginbill time. Our buddy Tom Luginbill, weekly guest normally during college football season. We're able to lasso him in after a big XFL weekend. Lugs, man. XFL debut.
Deer snake.
Yeah. What'd you say? Deer?
The beer snake.
The beer snake. Yeah, that was wild. What's up, Lugs?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that the beer snake actually got started in 2020 in that same stadium.
Oh.
And, man, they had it going. Like, from the top of the stadium all the way down to the field. And for whatever reason, stadium security put an end to it. And we don't know why. Like, we can't figure out what the problem is. It's not dangerous. They're not hurting anybody. But what a great atmosphere, man. I mean, it was fantastic to see not only the fans back that team, but to see the enthusiasm, the energy. The atmosphere was awesome.
Yeah, and, I was able to catch it. Kind of what we've talked about, Lugs, is the XFL, whether it's the XFL or it's the USFL, I think the theory of trying to replace the NFL is just never going to work. It's like taking Diet Coke and trying to tell everybody that it's Coke and then saying, hey, it's Coke Zero Sugar and doing all these different things. But instead of making it your own, like things like the beer snake, the rules, being able to score 15 points and, what was it, like 13 seconds or whatever it was, something crazy like that. You have to have enough that's different and enough that's the same to be able to make this work. And I feel like after the first weekend, the XFL really kind of did that. I thought it was, would you rate it as a success?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you got to understand, you're talking to somebody that's now been a part of all 3 iterations. I was the quarterbacks coach at Los Angeles in 2001. Yep. I was on the field as an analyst in 2020, now in the booth in 2023. And I've seen all the evolution of this thing and the rules tweaks and the transparency with the reviews. A lot of people don't remember this, but in 2001, the Skycam was debuted in the XFL. And it was universally panned. It was the dumbest thing ever. Why are we doing this? Why are we using this? Guess what? The next year, it debuted on Monday Night Football, and all of a sudden, it's the greatest thing since pocket T-shirts, right? So it's like all of these different things have come about because of this. And you're right. First of all, there is no intention to try to replace the NFL. There's not even an intention to try to compete with it. What this is a great opportunity because there's a lot of good football players out there. Guys that have made it down to the last cut. Guys, there are guys playing in this league that have 3-4 active years in the NFL, but guess what? They were salary cap casualties. They got too expensive. They got priced out. They took the younger player that's more talented. There are guys that made it on practice squads. Just good football players here, combined with, to your point, things that are making it unique, right? The mics, the audio, but maybe more so than anything else, the transparency on the officiating reviews.
Yes.
And that is something, and don't kid yourself, every commissioner, including Greg Sankey, the National Football League, all of these folks are paying very close attention to this because I remember in 2020 when this happened, right? And you guys know how officials generally are. They're going to push back. They're not used to having to stand at the podium and be accountable. They're not used to having to answer questions, right? So when this was all proposed, the officials like, whoa. We don't want any part of that. And what they didn't realize until it took place was by doing what was done in 2020 and what we're continuing to do now in 2023, it actually created sympathy for the officials.
Yeah.
The officials
humanizes you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the fan goes, oh, wait a minute. This isn't as black and white as I thought. I didn't realize how much goes into all of this. It's actually created a different perspective for the fan that, number one, they appreciate. The officials now are looked at differently because how difficult the job is. And then you as the fan watching it, all right, you get to really get a sense of what's going on. And it's great. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the stuff we're doing with Dean Blandino is awesome.
No, I agree. And this is something I've advocated for, that expedited reviews, making the fan a part of the process. And look, there's I've got a couple of other important questions to ask you. I know they do too, but nothing will be more important than this. Rumors are just swirling all over the internet that now that you're part of the XFL, that you and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson are like swimming in the same circles and you're like hanging out with him and Kevin Hart and stuff. Can we hang out?
Sure.
Nice.
Sure. I reminded the Rock. Actually, he'd prefer to be called either DJ or Dwayne Johnson. From what we've been told.
I'll call him the Rock.
Well, it's interesting because our home opener at Los Angeles in 2001, he basically came out and did his whole spiel, right? With the people's eyebrow, and can you smell what the Rock is cooking, the whole 9 yards. And I saw him on Sunday night. I reminded him of that. I was like, hey, do you remember in 2001 you come to Los Angeles? Obviously, you didn't remember meeting me, but it's just interesting in 22 years over the course of time. And let me tell you something. He and his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, the chairwoman of the league, they're invested, man. I mean, they want this thing to work and go forward. And I got to be honest with you guys, if the pandemic hadn't happened in 2020, this thing would be rolling along because it was really working then, and I think it's going to work now.
Yeah, aim for the bushes.
Aim for the bush.
Can't wait to see Tom and Jumanji. You
guys know how I feel about that movie.
Tom and Jumanji.
Sorry, Rock and Tom Luginbill.
Yeah, it's like, where's Tom?
And Beer Snake.
Where's Beer Snake? Yeah, Tom's over there like showing a gorilla how to throw a spiral.
Yeah. I'd watch it.
Yeah, he's like evaluating him. He's like, look, Pongo's got a chance. All right, go ahead. Sorry, I digress.
I love hearing you talk about the sky cam too. I've often said as a quarterback growing up, if I could have watched every game from behind the quarterback's head on the sky cam, I would have been exponentially better. The only problem is, Brady and Peyton Manning and those guys, they would have been better too. So I would have still been in the same bucket.
I'm just shocked the government didn't blow that sky cam out of the sky once they realized it clipped on the radar.
It's not held up there with a balloon. It's got cable
That's right.
That's right. That's actually, the sky cam's actually eye level with David.
Hey, don't be a heightist. Don't be a heightist, all right? We're covering serious topics here, Tanner.
Yes, get serious, guys.
Talking about quarterbacks, Tom, CBS Sports moved Anthony Richardson up to their projected #1 overall pick. Don't you put your head in your hands. Don't you put your head in your hands. You watched as much college football as anybody. It seems like over the past few years, these NFL GMs, their biggest fear is passing on high-level ceiling talent here when you see what Patrick Mahomes has been able to do, getting more and more like the NBA. Is this ludicrous, which I can tell by his reaction there, is this ludicrous, or, does Anthony Richardson have #1 overall potential?
Tom, the floor is yours.
Guys, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And listen, right. I get the skill set. Right? But the problem is he's not productive.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here? This guy throws the ball to the other team, okay? He's been injured, so he's got a history of injury. He is wildly erratic. He is inaccurate on a consistent basis, by the way, I think he completed 53% of his passes or something like that. I mean, some ridiculously poor number. By the way, in today's game, where the completion percentage is higher than it's ever been, because what are we doing? We're throwing bubble screens, we're RPOing, we're dinking and dunking. By the way, the jet sweep now counts as a forward pass, right?
Yes.
So, like, what? I don't understand. Like, and listen, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I've spent 11 years in professional football. I've been in scouting rooms. I've been in draft rooms, and I've coached the position. But I'm all in favor of really talented guys that are maybe late bloomers that you say, hey, we could invest in this guy, blah, 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 blah.
Jalen Hurts.
But the #1 overall pick, and you have basically based this on nothing other than a physical skill set, because you can't base it on anything
I have a theory.
Relatively close to performance.
I have a theory, Tom. I tweeted out this the minute Steichen took the Colts job, because if you look, that projection, I believe, had the Colts trading with the Bears to get that #1 pick to then go get Anthony Richardson. Shane Steichen just made it to the Super Bowl and got his bag with Jalen Hurts, who is a true dual threat quarterback. Do you think
how productive Jalen Hurts was?
No, Tom, I'm not arguing who was more. I'm wondering if it is him in his mind is saying, okay, well, my offense works best when I have this type of player. Do you think he is falling for his own trap or being a victim of his own success after somewhat of a small sample size with Jalen Hurts, saying Anthony Richardson has a big arm, so there's a potential for him to make all the throws. He's an elite runner of the ball. He's an unbelievable athlete, and he's big enough to take those hits. Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe Steichen is kind of looking at Jalen Hurts and kind of seeing Anthony Richardson of how he can mold him, which I don't think is the right decision. I think they'd be nuts to pass over Bryce Young and a couple other guys, but I would rather reach for Anthony Richardson than Will Levis, but for damn sure not at 1.
Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, and that's NFL ego, though. I mean, that's, I can get him, and I can mold him, and I can coach him, and I can change him in this and that. Do you know how many
massage him?
Exactly. I mean, do you know how many boxes Bryce Young checks that you can't coach? Just about all of them. Maybe every one of them, right? The only thing that God did not bless him with is stature, okay? All of the other things. And I'll tell you right now, I had Bill O'Brien tell me to my face in our production meeting for the Sugar Bowl that Bryce Young was and is maybe the smartest player that he's been around, college or pro. Okay, now, and on top of it, he said, when I show up on a Tuesday and we have our game plan meeting and we sit with the quarterbacks, he goes, I better have my ducks in a row, because by the time that Tuesday is rolled around, from Saturday night to Tuesday, Bryce Young's already watched all of the other teams. He's already broken down the tape, and I'm going to get challenged in that meeting. Okay. To me, like, those are the types of things that
makes you so much better. Person. Yeah.
Yes. I'm just like, and let's not even go down the Will Levis tunnel. We're not doing that either. Okay.
Yeah, we could go down that one.
Okay. Well, then we're going to go down the Jake Locker tunnel, because that's exactly what he is.
Or the Mitch Trubisky.
I like that comp.
Yeah.
I like that comp.
Well,
He's Jake Locker.
Yeah. I do.
I mean, the arm talent is obviously there, Tom. He can just wow people at a combine, without shoulder pads on. Unfortunately, that's not what wins football games.
No, you have to have some sort of touch. It's you don't shoot somebody from close range with a grenade launcher. Like, a grenade launcher is great if you're shooting it away from you to blow up. It's like playing quarterback. You can throw it 1,000 miles per hour. Great. Can you throw the swing pass? Can you throw the slant without throwing it 1,000,000 miles an hour? You can't just always have the grenade launcher or the bazooka. Sometimes, hey, you got to.
There's a reason.
You got the P90.
Not to mention, even if you have the grenade launcher, even if you've got the howitzer, it doesn't do you any good when you're throwing it to the other team.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, look, it's true. You talk about production.
That's why guys usually throw the hardest are closers, and they throw for 1 inning.
Yeah.
Right? It works for 1 inning.
Yeah.
It works for 1 inning.
I'm going to come in for 1 inning and throw it as hard as I humanly
Not
can.
7.
Yeah.
All right. Not 7. You got any more questions, though?
No, go ahead.
I'll go to the Booster Club here, Tom. Let's go to Brendan Hay.
Yeah.
And he wants to know, Tom, do you see any players or coaches jumping from the XFL to the NFL next season?
Oh, man. After week 1, that is such a difficult question to answer. I think we will. I think we'll see guys unfold. We'll see guys start to develop, just like we saw with P.J. Walker and a handful of others in 2020 that made active rosters. I just don't know if they've revealed themselves quite yet. Some of these guys, like
did I see Martavis Bryant out there?
Martavis Bryant out. I have him this week. I've got DC at Vegas. He plays for Vegas.
Who's going to pick up Josh Gordon? Yeah.
Josh Gordon's problem has never been talent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always the other stuff. And then there's going to be some guys that are talented enough, but have aged themselves out, which is fine. That's just kind of the natural progression. But I think I'll be able to answer that. If we talk 5 weeks from now, I'll be able to answer that question much more clearly. But I do think some players will emerge.
Well, let's go to Travis Elrod. He wants to know, is the NFL Combine important, overrated, or useless?
It's not useless. It's somewhat important, but it is highly overrated, in my opinion. Because I think what ends up happening is, and you know what? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to actually have to eat my own words. All right. One of the most marginally productive players in college that had an unbelievable combine is now a highly productive player in the NFL, and that is DK Metcalf. So DK was essentially the third option on Ole Miss's team. All right. He was injured all the time. He wasn't overly productive. He goes and he lights the world on fire at the NFL Combine. And so all of a sudden, everybody just forgets all of the stuff that they weren't able to identify on tape, and they become enamored because of the physical attributes. More often than not, that will backfire on you. Okay. It didn't with DK Metcalf, and good for him and good for his career. But the problem in football is it's unlike any other sport in that it can't be duplicated outside of its natural setting.
Yep.
Like I can play AAU basketball in the summer and play with my high school team in the winter, and I'm still playing the sport of basketball, right? Tennis, baseball, all of it, softball. But football can't be duplicated in shirts and shorts. You can test, you can identify, you can measure, and you can gain all of this verifiable data, which is a fantastic part of the puzzle, but it's one piece to the puzzle. Yeah. And I've never been of the belief that setting should trump how productive you've been as a player on the field.
Yeah.
Ever. And so I think it's a tool, and it's no different than high school recruiting for me. I go to these Under Armour camps, I go to the Elite 11, I watch this, and this, and it may all be great, okay? And it's a great tool, and it's a great resource. But then when you turn on the film and you start saying, okay, I'm going to take every third down in the fourth quarter of this quarterback and see how he performed. I'm going to take every game versus a rival opponent of this running back, and I'm going to take every game of the best teams on his schedule of this running back, and I'm going to break those down and see how he plays. That stuff's going to trump, in my opinion, the underwear Olympics every single time.
Yeah. Well, when I used to say all the time, when you talk about combines, you talk about camps, it's part of the equation. It's not the answer. That is where I think people get kind of mixed up. But Tom, we never get mixed up when you get on here, man. It's always great stuff. Tell everybody where you're going to be next. I mean, XFL, college football, you cover everything, man. Tell everybody where they can find you next.
Yeah, man. I'll be DC at Vegas on Saturday afternoon. We've got a Thursday, a Saturday, and 2 games on Sunday. So we're the only game, prime time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, this coming Saturday for the XFL. And then when I can, I'm trying to get out on the road and see some of these high school youngsters running around and gather more information on them. But I'll tell you guys, it's a good catching up. It always is, man.
It always is, having me on. Tom, we love you, brother. Appreciate it. We'll get you on here again soon. Everybody check him out in the XFL, man. Appreciate you.
Sounds good, guys. Appreciate you.
See you, man.
Man, it's always good seeing a friendly.
Tommy. That guy right there, man. A wealth of information and knowledge.
And, speaking about faces and skin in general, all right, people are raving about Genucel skincare.
Yes.
I don't know. Just open your door and listen outside. Jessica from Huntsville says, my skin looks so soft and clear. I've seen a reduced number of fine lines and dark spots. I have found a new lifetime product. Absolutely love it. Genucel was born from its founder in a small New Jersey town as a favor to one of this pharmacy customers. New Jersey, you hear that there, PJ? Using rare botanical extracts and scientifically researched ingredients, Genucel is uniquely formulated to target all visible signs of aging, fine lines, wrinkles, dark spots, a sagging jawline, and even those puffy under eye bags. Which, Cone, has been big for you.
Yeah.
Because it looks like you do a really good job of keeping those bags. You're in your Birkin bag.
I'm in my Birkin bag.
You're in your Birkin bag.
Not my under
bag. And look, I'm getting some for my fiance. She absolutely loves it. I know Darby Lou, they handle makeup as well, or she handles makeup as well, does a really good job. Blaine, you do too, does a great job.
Handle your makeup, buddy.
Also, I want to say this. If you visit genucel.com/booster, now this is GENUCEL.com/booster, you get 70% off. We're 30% away from just giving you free stuff. In this economy, you've seen the stock market, but you need to use code BOOSTER at checkout to have this applied to your account. That's genucel.com/booster. I'm telling you guys, it's magic.
I'm already thinking.
You want to know how you look like this?
Did you say Jessica from Huntsville?
Yeah, Jessica from Huntsville.
She looks good. I saw it the other day.
Nice. Nice.
GENUCEL. GENUCEL.
You better use
BOOSTER.
Yeah. I was about to add another. I was about to just drop something fire.
Oh, yeah, use the bathroom. It's been fun.
God, I love when you just tell everybody that. Let's go to the Booster Club real quick.
Who y'all drafting first, Matty? Ice 1994 wants to know.
Who am I drafting first?
AR-15, a Wheel of Voss.
Neither.
Who you drafting first?
What is this? A rock?
Who are you drafting first?
Anthony Richardson.
Okay,
I would
thank
take
you.
Anthony Richardson.
You
I
taking
put fake gun. I don't like fake gun or triangle face.
You don't like triangle? No one likes triangle face. Deacon and Nora wants to know where will Lamar Jackson land?
I still think it's Baltimore. Because you're Baltimore. What else are you going to do? How are we talking about this? How are we talking? It's your only move, right? Right now, with the Ravens have, who else you got? It's Lamar and who else?
Oh, you mean it's the only move from the Ravens?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Blue Steel, Magnum, it's the same look.
Is it?
It's the same look. The team is built around Lamar Jackson. Pay this man. I know Baltimore has been that city's been ran into the ground. Ran into the absolute ground because y'all elect idiots all the time, which is on y'all. But in reality, from an organization standpoint, typically the Ravens make smart decisions.
They do.
Why are y'all trying to hold out on this, pay this man?
I don't know if they're trying to hold out. I mean, when you say pay him what?
Pay him top 5 quarterback money.
Top 5? I hear he wants more than top 5.
Well, let's see. Maybe top 2 or 3. Look, it's Lamar Jackson. You got to pay.
Should he be the highest paid player in football?
Should he be the highest paid player in football? No, Patrick Mahomes should be.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes should be. He should be one of the
He's not even, I don't even think Patrick Mahomes is the highest paid.
Well, Patrick Mahomes wants to win. Because I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going out there saying, hey, I want, you just throw me everything, whatever. I want to.
Well, also because his contract.
Yeah, I was about to say, we got to look at his contract.
No, but I
think
think
contract renewed,
it was like
it was
$500 million, wasn't it, when he signed it?
Look, Patrick, you got to think. Patrick is so important to the Chiefs, obviously. But they also have Travis Kelce. They've had guys that you've had Tyreek Hill in the past. You've had weapons. Lamar's got nobody.
It's Deshaun Watson right now.
Lamar's got no. Yeah, well, the Browns are ridiculous. The Ravens have nobody else.
Oh, but per year, I think it's Aaron Rodgers.
Nobody else.
Aaron Rodgers,
what? Baltimore, stop dragging your feet. Stop. You're thinking you're a 9 and you're a 7, all right? That's hooking up with a 10. But you don't want to pay the bill at dinner? Grow up. Have some self-awareness.
All right, Brennan Hay wants to know, should the Seahawks consider drafting Anthony Richardson?
No, the Seahawks should consider letting Geno Smith ride this thing out to see if he's figured it out. I mean, the man had like a 70% completion percentage. I don't think
that might be a good thing. That might be a good thing.
Again, yeah. I don't think the Seahawks have a lot of momentum right now. Coming off a year where you thought it was going to be rebuilding, you're able to make the playoffs, you were competitive, you got some young talent. You look at Kenneth Walker, you got a nice mix of young and old. Geno Smith, the journeyman, figuring it out. Dennis Quaid, rookie of the year. Let's get back and figure it out. You look around that team, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett continues to be a 1,000-yard receiver. Every year you have pieces, but you have to add more. Build around what you have. Don't go out there and reach and waste an early pick, because Anthony Richardson ain't going to go 4th round. You're not going to get him there. Don't go waste an early pick on a project quarterback. Like the Seahawks are in a good position. Don't get too cute in the draft room. It's one of them.
But I think that is the type of scenario that would be good for him, right? When you have Geno Smith, who just had the best year of his career, but also you're not thinking Geno Smith's going to be the starting quarterback in Seattle 5 seasons from now necessarily. This could be a good situation to take a quarterback who you think could be a project to sit behind and learn from Geno Smith, but where are you getting him? Like you said, are you using your first-round pick? Because he's not going to 4, like Jake said. Is he sliding to the 2nd round? Sounding like no.
I'd get him late 2nd round and beyond that.
Late 2nd round?
Yeah.
I mean, and look, to me, whatever the Seahawks decide to do is the right move, because they were one of the top 3 teams in the draft last season, along with the Jets and with the Lions. The Seahawks got starters from last year's draft, you know?
All right, let's go to Jared Grubbs. He says, would you rather watch the Pro Bowl or the NFL Combine for the rest of your life?
NFL Combine. The Pro Bowl needs to be a list. I'd rather watch the Combine. Like I don't want to watch the Pro Bowl. I don't want to watch flag football.
I can't watch flag.
If I want to watch flag football, I'll drive out to the intramural field at the university.
And then at least
watch a bunch of rich kids run around.
At least you get sun then. You get some sun on your face and you're outside.
No. Look, there's positives everywhere, but like at the end of the day, like the Pro Bowl should be like the All-American list. It should be a list. Congrats, you made the Pro Bowl. Move on with your life. Like here, incentive, you made the Pro Bowl. Here's some extra money. Now you can just go to Hawaii on a trip. You don't have to come out here to the Pro Bowl and us pretend like we care. Nothing pisses me off more than watching people pretend like they care. Like, it's just the worst. That's why it's so hard for me to watch news. Like, it's so hard for me to watch anything in the news. But I'm going to tell you something I do care about here is this tractor rap here in a second. I think we got that.
The tractor rap?
I want some of that.
We'll get to that.
You love that.
I do want to show this NHL.
You love it.
I want to show this NHL.
Blaine's just not at Alpha Psi rodeo.
I want to get to this last one here before Tom came out. I wanted to show you this goal that Patrick Kane had for the Blackhawks the other night. Go ahead and run this clip.
Angelo and the shot blocked. Stevenson's got it through Watt, and here's Patrick Kane with 2 seconds in OT. Kane.
All right, now watch this. Watch the replay. This goal did not end up counting. But watch the clock here on television when the puck crosses net. Now, NHL is different from the NBA. It's not when the puck is released from the stick. It's when the puck crosses the line fully on the goal for it to count, as long as time hadn't expired. So watch the clock at the top here on the last angle of it.
Are you kidding me? Blocker side.
What a shot, first off.
He gets it off with half a second.
Oh, that's good, Sharpie.
That's
a goal.
1 second. It's in there, right?
That's a goal.
It didn't count because the game clock at the arena didn't match up with the TV clock.
No.
And
I have to see it.
Wait, hold on. Now, we have to understand this. This is the home team that didn't get the goal counted, right?
They're at home. Chicago, right?
All right, so I don't think there's any. So what you're telling me is, I just have to reference this in my mind. This is how it works. You are saying that in reality, this TV clock that we're looking at is slower than the actual game clock was at the arena.
You know by how much?
That the officials are using.
Well, it's 0.1 left, so just regardless of what it is. I can understand that because I've seen that happen in college basketball. Hell, last night, Alabama, South Carolina, I watched them in the game before South Carolina even inbounded the ball to try and throw the Hail Mary at the end, which they almost made. But I get that. That makes sense.
To me, if Elon's landing rockets backwards on Mars, we can match.
No, look, somebody should be fired. I'm not saying nobody should be held accountable.
With a goal
I blame the referees.
Buried it.
Come on, man.
I blame the referees.
Come on.
Locker side.
You're getting the goal.
Where Mama keeps the wheat thins.
You're getting the goal. Congrats.
Come on.
Nah, look. I can understand that. And it's not, if this was the away team and that happened to win the game, I say, all right, okay, we can look into this.
You think collusion?
We can look.
Blatant robbery.
I'll scream collusion.
I just
but
wanted
the
to see what
home
y'all
team
thought.
didn't give themselves a win. But come on, man, what is home court advantage? We can't just sweep this under the rug? Like it's one game, right? NHL
Point one. If I'm the
82?
coach, I'm in handcuffs. I'm in handcuffs.
Blaine's already in prison. I want to do trivia before we do this.
Okay.
All right, I want to do trivia before.
Wait, does the production team have trivia handled today?
We do.
Oh, good. I want to do trivia before I have to watch this.
Buckle up.
Katie Noel or Noel or whoever
Yeah,
this.
well, I'll bring some positivity. Well, hopefully if you get it before that wrapper.
All right. We've been hot in trivia. We've been hot.
All right, there are 8 different running backs who have rushed for 2,000 yards in a season.
In the NFL or college?
In the NFL.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So 8 different NFL running backs who have rushed for 2,000 yards in a season. You have 1 minute to name all 8.
1 minute?
Do you want me to give you 2? Do you think you can handle it?
No, give us a minute.
All
Eric
right,
Dickerson.
1 minute starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson.
Yes.
Emmett Smith.
No.
He didn't rush for 2,000 yards.
I don't think so.
Barry Sanders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders. I think Derrick Henry got there.
Yep.
Derrick Henry.
Let's think. Terrell Davis?
No.
Earl.
Wait, sorry, Terrell Davis, yes.
Yes, Terrell Davis,
You have
yes.
4.
O.J. Simpson.
OJ did
Yes.
it.
Okay, how about, what do we think about Earl Campbell? Earl Campbell get to 2,000?
Yes.
I don't think so.
No.
No,
okay.
David, he didn't.
Oh,
Chris Johnson.
Yeah. Good
yes,
call.
Chris Johnson.
All right, that gives us what, 5?
How many is that? 5?
2 more.
Five.
Two more.
Five.
I think old school. Old school.
Not too old.
Not too old, though.
I don't know if
Jamal
Walter-
Lewis.
Yes. 1 more.
Nice one. That's a good one. I don't think Walter Payton did.
7 seconds. 7 seconds. 6 on 4. Think running back.
Around
Name somebody.
2012.
Terrell Davis?
I already said that. Hey, man, we got 7 out of 8.
How many
dog.
did we get?
Close, guys. It was Adrian Peterson in 2012.
Hey, no, that's a good.
Vikings.
That was a good performance.
So say them all again real quick. I can't believe we.
So in 1973, O.J. Simpson with the Bills. 1984, Eric Dickerson, the Rams. 1997, Barry Sanders with the Lions. 98, Terrell Davis, Denver Broncos. 2003, Jamal Lewis, Baltimore Ravens. 2009, Chris Johnson with the Titans. 2012, Adrian Peterson with the Vikings. And 2020, Derrick Henry with the Titans.
Hey, good job, though, guys.
Wow.
Like, look, I'm
Nice.
not. That one's
Yeah.
that
That was
one's
good.
a,
1 minute is
2,000
tough.
yards in a season,
Yeah, that's
man.
ridiculous.
You had a year.
Chris Johnson was skating.
Is
You
anybody
had
else
a
not
year.
shocked that Emmett Smith didn't get 2,000 yards in a season? I know career-wise he's got the most.
Yeah, most in the career. I think it was more of like a volume thing.
Yeah.
He was just productive for so long.
All right, so there's apparently something that was sent by one of some demonic force, whether that be the Upside Down from Stranger Things or The Conjuring, I don't know. It's called tractor rap. It's a mixture of country music and rap. And there's some people that apparently this has worked for, like Jelly or something like that.
Jelly Roll?
It's called Jelly, something like that that's worked. So this person's name is Katie Noel, okay? And she basically got famous by accusing another country music star of something that apparently turned out to be fake. I'm not going down that road. I'm in enough legal stuff
When did
already
that
trying to
happen?
figure out. A couple years ago, a year ago, recently, whatever. So she released this song, and I want to say this. I'm from the state of Alabama. I'm from Lee County, East Alabama, all right, in the heart of the South. This song is called Southern. At no point does this person or what they are saying represent myself or anybody else from the South.
How dare you?
And I would like to start a petition banning this person. I will cancel culture this person. Banning this person from being able to claim being from the South forever, which is an old school exile. I'm not saying she's got to go to Siberia. I'm not even saying she's got to go to California. But stop doing this. You have embarrassed all of us, okay? And I'm going to play this clip, and you're going to see. And if you're just listening to this, congrats. You need to watch it too, because the visual is just as bad as the audio. Let's play this just monstrosity. Just play it.
Cuffs on my veins, wearing these jeans. Roll Tide, go Vols, SEC. Smoking, drinking, fighting, riding races, tracking hard to straight. Southern Belle, sit right beside us. Damn good day when the fish are biting. Top of water, Sick bobbers. I get these looks from my mama, kick ass from my father. Come on, surviving, we living, stealing hearts with the shitting, granted, fried chicken, can't have biscuits.
Turn it off.
Yeah, stop.
Turn it off.
Stop it. Stop it.
Turn it off.
If you want to get answers from terrorists, you don't need to waterboard them. You don't even need to touch them. Put them in a room and play this. I wish I could fire this person.
First of all, no one says roll tide and go Vols in the same.
Yeah. You should be canceled
The
for that.
SEC does not claim this person at all.
No.
Don't bring the SEC into this. There's certain music that should never, there's certain things that should never go together, right? Tractors and rap are one of them. I promise you that. That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's one of the cringiest things. And listen, I don't know Katie Noel, but I can already tell I don't like you. And like Kenny Powers said, I'm not going to like you regardless of how many push-ups or pull-ups you can do. So if anybody wants to pick on anybody, that's her, because I ain't looking.
This right here is the reason the South gets a bad rap.
Yeah. You're embarrassing us.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Really.
Like,
Literally. I blame the parents.
We're not, yes, you should.
Like, I blame I wonder if she came from a two-parent household.
Oh, for sure.
Now you've
she
crossed
got,
the line.
what she
Now
get
you've
from her
crossed the
mom and
line.
gas from her father? Like,
like, look, let's be honest. Somebody lied to you and told you this is a good idea.
Yeah, and your friend.
And at what point, and I'll tell the story once the show gets released, because I've seen people that direct things like this. Like, at what point during the filming of this, did you all look around at each other and say, you know what? This is it.
Upload.
This may be the hottest song. And I get, like, we're talking about it, and in some way it's worked, but you don't want to be talking. Like, you're trying to be a singer, and everyever's talking about
Not really.
how
That ain't singing.
how bad you are at this. You need to stop. If I was her, I'd be getting a passport.
I'd rather listen to Lou Holtz for 30 minutes than listen to that.
I would rather get jumped by a group of angry dwarves with baseball bats than be subjected to that audio form of physical violence again. And like, y'all can say I'm being mean. I am being mean. Because guess what? You embarrassed us. That song is not called Southern. That song is called This Song Sucks. It's like Dave Chappelle said. You talk about said Daddy don't preach? Well, how about this? Katie, stop singing. Like, please, for the love of God and everything, stop singing. Oh my gosh. Can we go to the Booster Club just so I can please get that out of my mind before we do bets?
Yes, for sure. I'm going to get to some donations here. Let's go to Brendan Hay with a $5 donation. He says, how do we get a Booster Club hoodie?
Yeah, you go buy out all the merch at go to thedailywire.com, DW Originals, PJ, we can put up the link or something in the YouTube rating. Go buy us out of that stuff because we got some new merch coming, but we have to sell the old stuff first. It's on screen. Yeah, it's on screen right now. You can look at it and see it. Click that link and enjoy all the beautiful fabrics and linens that Crane & Company has on.
All right, let's go to Zane Parr with a $2 donation. Appreciate it, Zane. He says, who does Texas hire for their basketball coach?
That's a good question.
Not Will Wade after the Chris Beard thing. I got to see what the market bears. Do you go get Rick Pitino? Like, after what just happened, I don't think you can, though. Like, Texas will fall in line. Like, Austin's pretty liberal. Like, they'll fall in the line of what's like, in basketball. Football, it's a little bit different. They're going to go get somebody that can win. They understand it on a different level in football there. But I don't know. Let's see what the market bears.
All right, let's go to Ryan Gay with a $5 donation. After yesterday, get off my lawn. What do you think about off days in the MLB since there are more games?
Yeah, look, every team's goal is to win the championship, right? So I understand the concept that, hey, if we rest a guy here, we rest a guy there, and we're more prepared for the postseason, that's the ultimate goal is to win a championship. What I'm saying is there's no data that indicates resting your guys is going to lead to you all of a sudden winning a championship later on in the season. Baseball is a little different because you're playing every single night. But again, I look back at Cal Ripken Jr., Cal Ripken Jr. going out there and suiting it up every single day when he wasn't, injured. That means something.
And baseball, too, we got to take different sports with a grain of salt because you have a pitcher that'll go out there and a starter that'll pitch once every 6 days, something like that. But you can't have your starter going out there throwing 2 2 games in 4 days. Like, you only see that stuff at the very end of the year. If they have to have somebody in a game 7 or something like that, maybe you bring a starter out of the pen, but it's just so different when you're trying to get people to the end of the year in Major League Baseball compared to basketball. It's just 2 totally different sports.
And this is why I said the NBA, the thorn in their side is the NHL.
Yep.
Because with football, they can say, well, you only play 17 games. I know it's more physical, but you don't know what we're dealing with here. And they can look at Major League Baseball and say, sure, you're playing every night, but you're not nearly as physical as us on the basketball court. But hockey, to me, plays the same number of regular season games and is far more physical than basketball.
Sure.
And you don't see those guys wanting to sit out.
Yep.
All right, Deacon and Nora wants to know, where will Mike Evans end up going to the Cowboys?
Depends on who's going to play quarterback.
Yeah, look, I don't believe they're going to
In Tampa Bay, I mean.
Well, look, I think Tampa Bay's pretty much told you they're in the rebuilding process, and when you win a Super Bowl in a market like that, you can get away with kind of hiding for 3 to 5 years. So I wouldn't be shocked with anything with the Cowboys. They're like the Yankees. They're going to try and get all the best players together, and I'm just going to watch it screw up. I just don't believe in Dak Prescott. Is anybody saying anything about that tractor wrap though?
Yeah, they all hated it.
Okay,
terrible. Yeah,
I just want to make sure I was right on that.
Yeah.
Because my ears work. I'm going to head over to the Board of Education Trust, and that one thing you found in your parents' room that you're afraid to tell them you know. All right. I forgot to write y'all's bets up on the board today because y'all forgot to tell me.
You want mine?
I'll
tell you.
No, that's on you.
No,
yeah, that's on you.
No,
Cone, is that
that's
on
on y'all.
That's on Jake.
That's on you.
Yeah.
Cone will take responsibility.
He just said it's on you.
Cone will take responsibility. Full grown man.
He just said it's on you.
You know what? It's all of our faults. Get out there and run sprint.
Yeah. So here's what I got. You can see the bets on the board today. I do want to say, I want to thank NC State. I want to thank Wake Forest. I want to thank St. John's. Not only did I hit that $800 parlay last night on the personal, hit my plus 339 parlay. Had North Carolina State money line, the over at 155.5, and St. John's money line. That one worked out. St. John's scared me at the end with Georgetown, though. But tonight, give me Detroit Murcielago with Antoine Davis. Going to be the leading scorer in Division I history probably by the time the end of the year's over. I think he's pretty close right now. Give me the over, 138.5. They don't play defense. They're playing Northern Kentucky. What does the North do? It's cold, so they shoot indoors. Where do you play basketball? Indoors. Give me the over, 138.5. Then my second bet, give me Illinois money line at home against Northwestern, I believe. UCLA on the road at Utah money line. San Francisco at home against Portland in the battle of the softest people ever. And then Michigan, +6.
There we go.
That's one parlay, plus 345. Kona, I looked at you this morning at 5:15. I said, Michigan +6 against Rutgers. How are you feeling?
What'd I say?
You looked at me and said, not good. We'll see. All right.
Rutgers pretty good, man. All right, I'm going to take UCLA. UCLA is on the road tonight at Utah. I want them money line. Okay. And I want to pair it with Illinois money line hosting Northwestern. That's -122. And then I'm going to go Gonzaga -23 tonight at home hosting San Diego. And I want to pair that with UAB money line hosting Rice. That's a dog bet at +122.
I'm dogging it, Tony. What does Babeth want?
Oh, Babeth, I heard that he was going to take the Golden Knights money line, but he wants the over at 3.5 goals in the game as well.
What's that?
-120.
Okay, I like that.
And then Penguins money line, -105.
Wow, okay. All right, Blanye East.
Give me the Washington Capitals to win 3-2.
Wow.
Exact scores.
Like it.
Plus 2,900.
Plus 2,900?
And then give me the Penguins to win. No. Excuse me. The Oilers to win 3-2.
You figure it out.
The 3-2, and that is plus 2,600.
Whoa.
Boy, if you hit both of these.
God, a comeback. Yeah.
And he's back. All right. Booster Club on the way out.
Yeah, let's go to producer Justine with a $1 donation. She says, Blaine, why are you ignoring your ex-country rap's career on the show? Well, that's hilarious. So somebody not
You
laugh.
dated?
You dated her?
I don't know. You think she dates guys? No.
I don't know. It's 2023.
That doesn't mean she didn't date you then.
No.
That means you know.
I get it. There's one thing I can guarantee.
Could not wait to drop that.
There's one thing I can guarantee that she doesn't date guys.
Okay, we'll see.
Let's go poll.
Poll.
All right, this poll was from Ross Bryan. He said it earlier in the show. So he says, does Jake hit a single bet tonight after bragging all morning? Yes or no?
Did I brag all morning? I just went over
the Crane-Thagorean theorem.
Look, I'm the messenger, guys. Don't kick me in the hole.
Why the hate?
Don't kick me in the hole, all right?
This is Sparta. This is Sparta.
Oh.
Yeah, come on.
That's a weird
follow the breadcrumbs, bro.
That's a weird way to put that.
Yeah. I said nothing to your wife. Right. Yes or no, Jake?
I think they said, wait.
I hope so. Yes. Can I say yes?
How was it
Does Jake hit a single bet tonight after bragging all morning?
They're going to
yes
say no. No, 56%.
Yes, 51%.
No. 63%.
Wow. Okay.
Yes,
they don't believe in Crane-Pythagorean theorem.
You don't believe in Crane-Pythagorean theorem, huh? Y'all think A squared plus B squared equals C squared? Yeah, right. All right. Anything else?
No, not really.
Cone, you got anything?
You know, wait, I got some. Sorry. I got some.
Great.
I got some. Devin 21. Yeah, get Devin in here. Hashtag Ask Crane and Company. Not a question, but just want to thank y'all for keeping your language clean on the show. It's nice to not have to worry about my kids listening in.
Yeah.
Imagine it is not always easy.
Tell them how that started, Jake.
Look. I was kidnapped when I was. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I decided when I got in this a couple of years ago that I did want to have it to where it was loose enough where I can talk how I pretty much talk, but I want you to be able to listen to it in the car with your kids. That's why you don't hear us dropping the F-bomb like you hear at Barstool. You know, we'll say the A word, the S word every now and then, but it's not going to be...
You said the A word today.
I said the A word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gangbang's not a cuss word. That is a sandwich from McDonald's.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. But is there anything else you want to get off your chest while you have the...
What else is going on over there?
All right?
Nothing much, man. I'm trying not to flex and bust out of this shirt.
You are.
Huh?
Looking mighty small.
Blaine's really upgraded his schmedium collection lately.
They give me the clothes to wear.
All right, make sure you're following us on all social media. Shout out to Tom Luginbill. Got a great show. It's Flaming Dragon Friday tomorrow. And I swear to the old gods and the new, I will hit that under tomorrow with Flaming Dragon Friday. And if you don't know what that is,
I feel like he says this every Thursday.
To find out, no, you stop. I want to. Do we have motivating music we can play in the background while I sign off? Do we have anything we can play right there?
Yeah, turn that tractor rap back.
No, wrap it in the show. Anything with that, we appreciate it. And like the chances of Katie Noel being a good artist, we're going, gone.